We're back on the air and reminding everybody this is Radio Entrepreneurs. Our next guest, someone I know very well and very well respected, Steve Kelly, President CEO of Timberline Construction. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
We've tried to get you on this show for a year. And our topic today with Steve is going to be cost containment and the construction industry. I guess that's a pretty important topic, isn't it?
It's a pretty big issue. Most of our clients are concerned, obviously, about cost escalations. With the recovering economy the last couple of years, costs continue to rise, and it's hard for them to plan and really make business decisions on really what's undetermined in terms of what the ceiling of the costs are going to be. So a lot of clients in many different sectors are struggling with getting their hands around how to forecast those actual costs for the future.
And we're talking about business construction projects, correct?
Yeah, mostly I'm referring to commercial construction,
Right.
Not so much in the residential industry, although it applies significantly in the bigger residential industry, which is multi-unit housing.
Well, I would think, let's say, as an example, if I was working at a hospital or a university, that the budget I start with today might not be the budget 2 years down the road when I'm finishing my project. So that could be a major issue for me as well as you.
It's definitely a major issue. They study analytics really since the Great Depression, and really the previous peak was set in 1972, which was the highest the cost escalation was versus an available labor pool. And in 2007, prior to the most recent crash, we actually surpassed that number, so we set a new peak in 2007. And then in 2013, we actually passed the 2007 peak, and we've gone nothing but up since then, which means there's a lack of labor versus the available work that needs to be performed. So with the typical supply-demand curve, then obviously the cost escalation goes up. So now subcontractors have a very limited capability, and there's a price premium to get them to perform all the work that needs to happen. And it's really a very major problem that's going to be a growing trend for years to come.
Wow. So what do they do? And what do you do? I mean, there's a big problem there that you've identified.
Well, it's even to go more of a macro level for you at a national level. If you look at the past 20, 30 years, a lot of parents are pushing their kids into college. There's really a lack of available labor, and there's over the next 20 or 30 years, what they expect to be a big shortage of skilled labor trades. A lot of folks have gone into management, college education, and not many are going into the trades. And a lot of the next, the best skilled mechanics today are going to be retiring over the next 10 to 20 years, and there's not really a big supply behind them to fill that void. So really, I think there's a big concern with where the cost escalations are going to continue to rise due to really a lack of supply of skilled labor.
Does that mean it was an opportunity for you to go into business, or does that mean that you're crazy? Or both?
I'd say it's always a little bit of both. There's a certain risk element to any entrepreneur in any industry. In our construction industry, it's one of the economic drivers of the national economy. For me, it's always I've lived a life of taking risks. I think there's certainly opportunity if we look at down the line, both for me today and today's economy and in the future economy for people in construction, because we're the number one consumer of the world is the United States. So there's always going to be opportunity here to build and to grow. Localized here in Boston, it's a great market to be in. We've arguably the higher ed capital of the world, the healthcare capital of the world. We're becoming one of the top life science markets in the world, one of the top 5 probably financial markets in the country. So in that, there's a lot of human capital and a lot of opportunity for constant growth and expansion of business. In construction, it's very competitive because we're a very sophisticated market. So there's a lot of competition in this area. So for a new company like Timberline to grow, it was a very big challenge. We had very stiff competition, high barriers to entry. But over time, we're overcoming those obstacles, and as we grow our portfolio, the barriers to entry really get smaller and smaller. And over the next couple of years, we expect the barriers to entry to be gone for us, because we're starting to really position ourselves as one of the premier general contractors in the Boston market.
Steve, if somebody wants to learn more about Timberline Construction, how would they find it?
We can go onto the website, www.timberlineconstruction.com, and they can always just get the number and call the office. We got we're kind of an old school company that we still like to talk to people. It's not always electronic, so pick up the phone and we'll schedule an interview, come in and talk, a meeting. We love meeting new folks, again, being relationship driven. To me, a cup of coffee is a cheap investment in a potential relationship, so we're always want to meet folks.